At 20 years old, Nathan Miller was not a liar by nature, but he was a master of opportunity. And a lie, he believed, was simply an opportunity you created for yourself. For a young man whose summer consisted of aching muscles and dirt under his fingernails from a grueling landscaping job, the opportunity for one night of pure, unadulterated escape was too tempting to resist. The lie he constructed to seize it was, in his mind, a masterpiece of casual deception. The siren call was the midnight premiere of the summer's biggest blockbuster, a massive pop culture event his friends had been planning for weeks. The obstacle was the lucrative overnight shift. He was scheduled to work a shift that paid double time, a shift he had sold to his parents as absolutely essential for his tuition goals. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Miller, were practical, hardworking people whose calloused hands and simple lifestyle were a testament to their belief in an honest day's labor. They would never approve of him sacrificing real work for real entertainment. So, the lie was born, and Nathan, the actor, took to the stage. That Friday evening, he put on a masterful performance. He packed a lunchbox with sandwiches he would never eat and filled a thermos with coffee he would never drink. He stretched theatrically in the living room, letting out a long, martyred sigh. "It's going to be a tough one," he announced, kissing his mother on the cheek. 12 straight hours of laying sod. "But the money's too good to pass up." His mother's tired face beamed with pride. "We're so proud of your work ethic, son," his father said, clapping him on the shoulder, the weight of his trust feeling heavy and unearned. "Just be safe out there." "Always am," Nathan replied, the lie sliding off his tongue with practiced ease. He walked out the door into the cool night air, the heavy lunchbox in his hand feeling like a prop in his own brilliant play. He got into his truck, but instead of driving east toward the muddy fields of the landscaping site, he turned west, chasing the glittering electric promise of the multiplex theater. There, he met his friends, and the thrill of rebellion, sharp and sweet, buzzed in his veins. The gritty, responsible sun was shed like a skin, replaced by a carefree hero of the night. They laughed, bought oversized sodas and buckets of popcorn that smelled of buttery freedom, and settled into the plush theater seats. As the lights went down and the trailers began to boom, Nathan silenced his phone and forgot the world outside. He was a free man, the architect of his own perfect alibi, a king for a night in a kingdom built on a single, brilliant lie. Miles away, his father, Mr. Miller, was finishing a late-night meeting with a client. He got in his truck around midnight to begin the long drive home. His route took him down the main highway, past the very same multiplex where his son was currently lost in a world of superheroes and explosions. As he drove by, the sheer volume of cars in the theater parking lot caught his eye. "Must be a big premiere," he thought idly, and then he saw it. Tucked away under a flickering lamppost was a familiar sight, his son's beat-up, slightly dented blue pickup truck. There was no mistaking it. He knew every scratch, every dent. Mr. Miller's hands tightened on the steering wheel. It made no sense. Nathan was supposed to be on the other side of town working. A cold, heavy feeling began to settle in his stomach. He pulled over onto the shoulder of the highway, his mind racing. Could it be a coincidence? Could someone else have borrowed the truck? No, the lie Nathan had told was too specific. The overnight shift, the sod. He didn't drive into the parking lot. He didn't call his son's phone. A direct confrontation there would cause a scene. Instead, a cold, calculated anger began to form. He pulled back onto the highway and drove home, his mind clear on what needed to happen next. He walked into his house and found his wife reading in the living room. "Caroline," he said, his voice low and serious. "I think we have a problem." He explained what he had seen. Together, they went on the theater's website. The evidence was immediate and undeniable. Midnight premiere, summer blockbuster, Age of Heroes, Mrs. Miller's face fell with a look of profound disappointment. "He lied to us so easily." "Yes," Mr. Miller said, his voice hard as iron. "He did. And now, we will wait." They turned off all the lights in the house except for a single, small lamp in the living room, and they sat on the sofa, side by side, a silent, united front. They did not talk. They did not watch TV. They just waited. In the quiet darkness. At 3:15 a.m., Nathan finally returned. He was exhausted, buzzing with the energy of the movie, and confident he had gotten away with his perfect lie. He turned his key in the lock as quietly as possible and pushed the door open, slipping into the dark house. He closed the door behind him with a soft click, letting out a silent sigh of relief. He had made it. Then, a lamp clicked on. He flinched, his eyes adjusting to the sudden light. His mother and father were sitting on the sofa, watching him. They weren't angry. They weren't yelling. They were just sitting there, their faces calm and unreadable, which was somehow infinitely worse. Nathan's blood ran cold. The triumphant feeling from the movie evaporated, replaced by the metallic taste of pure fear. His father leaned forward slightly. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the silence of the house like a razor. "How was work, son?" The question, "How was work, son?" hung in the silent house, a perfectly laid trap. Nathan stood frozen in the entryway, his mind scrambling for an escape that he knew didn't exist. He could see it in his father's eyes. There was no room for another lie. It was fine, he stammered, his voice weak, long, tiring. "I'm sure it was," his father replied, his voice still dangerously calm. "A 3-hour movie can really take it out of you, especially when it's past midnight." Nathan's face went white. He had nothing left. No alibi. No excuse. He had been caught. Completely and utterly. He looked from his father's hard, unyielding face to his mother's, which was etched with a deep, weary disappointment. "I saw your truck in the theater parking lot, Nathan," Mr. Miller said, finally letting a hint of his cold anger show. "I was on my way home, and there it was. So don't you dare stand there and try to lie to us again." I'm sorry, Nathan whispered, his gaze falling to the floor. "Sorry for what?" his mother asked, her voice soft but sharp. "Sorry you went to a movie? Or sorry you got caught lying about it?" "I just wanted one night off," Nathan pleaded. "The job is hard, and my friends were all going. We were proud of you," his father interrupted, standing up. "We were proud that our son was learning the value of hard work, that he was responsible enough to work an overnight shift for his future. We told our friends about it. That pride, that was a lie, wasn't it? You let us be proud of a lie." He walked over to his son. "You didn't just lie about a movie, Nathan. You lied about your character. You disrespected us, and you disrespected the very idea of an honest day's work. A lesson is in order, a lesson in consequences." He gestured toward the living room. "Take a seat on the edge of that coffee table." As his mother watched silently, a tear tracing a path down her cheek, Nathan did as he was told. He sat on the edge of the sturdy wooden table, his back to his father, feeling a sense of profound and deserved humiliation. His father unbuckled the thick leather belt from his jeans. The sound of the leather sliding free from the loops was loud. In the quiet room, "You wanted to feel like an adult, free to do what you want," Mr. Miller said, his voice coming from directly behind Nathan. "But you acted like a deceitful child. So you will be disciplined like one. You will take 6 strokes of my belt, and you will think about the value of honesty with everyone." Nathan braced himself, squeezing his eyes shut. The first strike landed with a loud, sharp crack against the seat of his jeans, a bolt of pure, stinging fire that made him cry out and surge forward. "That," his father said, his voice grim, "is for the lie you told to our faces." Crack. The second strike was just as powerful, forcing a sob from Nathan's throat. "That is for the disrespect you showed our trust." The punishment was swift, methodical, and deeply humbling. With each strike, Nathan felt his arrogance and cleverness being stripped away, replaced by the raw, painful understanding of his failure. By the final blow, he was openly weeping, not just from the intense, burning sting, but from the crushing weight of his shame. His father waited a moment before speaking. "Get up." Nathan pushed himself to his feet, wincing, and turned to face his parents. "Your summer of fun is over," Mr. Miller stated, his tone final. "First thing in the morning, you will call your boss. You will tell him you abandoned your shift without notice, and you will accept whatever he decides to do, which will most likely be firing you. You will face the real-world consequences of your choice." His mother spoke then, her voice full of sorrow. "And after that, your days will be spent with your father. He has a construction project starting next week. You will be his free labor. You are going to learn what a real 12-hour day of hard work feels like. Your car keys and phone are mine for a month," his father added. "Your freedom is on hold. You will earn it back, inch by inch." The next morning, his backside still aching with a deep, throbbing soreness, Nathan made the most humiliating phone call of his life. He confessed to his boss, who, as his father predicted, fired him on the spot. After he hung up, his father was standing in the doorway, holding a pair of worn leather work gloves. "Let's go, mister," Miller said, his voice no longer angry, just resolute. The real work starts now. As Nathan followed his father out to the truck, he knew his life had fundamentally changed. He had chased a few hours of fun and, in the process, had lost his job, his freedom, and the priceless trust of the people who loved him. The lie had cost him everything, and the long, hard road to earning it all back had just begun.